options.
But on the end, you say this, fine, I agree. On the end, you take the easiest drum head, which is the Remo Ambassador coated, or Remo
Ambassador coated, yeah, that's
Ambassador
what I
clear, and on the end, because one of those drum heads which capture all the different kind of sound in the wood of the cell of the shell. I mean, yeah.
So you were at the Remo factory a few other times, a few
Yeah,
other occasions.
Yes, I had the pleasure to be there very often and look after the Remo heads. You know, it was like a process for me. I was the first on there, then I understood how they make drum heads. Then I came back to my studio. I worked on that because I'm restoring and modified drums as well.
Right.
Because one of the biggest points is that the knowledge is fine to have, but you have to use it.
Right.
So I'm restoring drums. I have a lot of vintage drums which I restore and modified them, you know, and when you make tests with bearing edges, you know, on the drum shell, then you go back again to the drum heads, because different bearing edge means also they interact with the drum head different. And
Right.
then you have to understand again, and then you go back and back and back and look also at the factory how they make this. And so,
well, you were really fortunate because as a kid you got to see how drum shells were made, how cymbals were made, and then later on how drum heads were made.
mm-hmm.
And knowing, you know, what you knew about metal and metal construction and how metal is put together, you had a pretty good background there.
Yeah, I mean, and also the background what Joe Porcaro gave me, how the influence of the person itself, how you hit the drum, you know, and how those drumsticks affect the sound, and how the wood of the drumsticks affect the sound, and all those different pieces and parts, you know. It's like, it's easy. I mean, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle of a lot of different pieces which you put together to a picture. That's all. And I have to say, a lot of people ask me, how do you do this, how do you do it? And a lot of people also here when I'm in LA. And I'm wondering, because all those pieces and parts, most of them, are here in the city. It's only the way how you put the picture together. And I mean,
Right.
also, I mean, look to Capitol. If you go here in the room where they have all the microphones, and everything is here.
Yeah, I saw a picture just recently of Sinatra's microphone in the box, and
Yeah,
you know how they got it.
I mean, it's like it's fine, you know. You have to put it together to a picture. So, saying this, when you know, to make a long story short, when you know the drums, when you know the technology behind this, it helps you to get out a good drum sound. If you have the right person behind this drum set, and you really have to focus on the drummer of the person itself, how he's playing, how he's hitting a drum set. If you know how the reaction is of the air, you know, when he hit hard, you know, you have some drummers who hit really hard, somebody is hitting the drums very soft. That if you know this, you can deal with it. And then if you know how they play the drums, and you know microphone technology, you can capture the sound. And a good influence is also, which I was at the Steinway & Sons factory 3 times in Hamburg, in Germany, not in New York, but in Hamburg, and saw how they built the pianos, the grand pianos. And this all helps, all those different things. But on the end, it's all about the artist. And you have to look after the artist as well. Technology is fine, but on the end, it has to connect to the artist. No. And then you come over to all this technology which you use here. And if this chain is working, fine. And if you have the chance, and thanks God, I mean, I have the chance the last 20 years now, more than 20 years, to get influenced by Joe Porcaro, to get influenced by Bernard Purdy, get influenced by Mark Schulman, who, you know, worked for Pink, and got influenced by Al Schmitt, and a lot of technicians, you know, like to say Paul Jameson, drum doctors,
Mhm.
you know, all those guys, and in Germany in the factory from Sonor or here in Oxnard at DW, and I put that together, you know, that's all. And I mean, I remember the first workshop which Al Schmitt and I did together, the drum recording workshop in 2013 at Los Angeles Music Academy, and everybody was expecting, okay, it's a drum set, we put the microphones on, let's start recording. Wait a minute. No. We start on the source. And I put a drum completely apart and said, okay, here's the thing. And they were like, oh, drum sound starts here? Yes, drum sound starts there.
Hello, yeah.
And then we talk about microphones. But the first half day was only drums itself, how they do it.
Gotcha. All right, hold on. All
Yeah.
right, stop.